in math. I know all kinds of things about math. Ask me about all the things I know about math. What is up, guys? Welcome back. Today we are going to be playing with a new brand called LYS Beauty, and from my understanding that stands for Love Yourself, which we love to hear. So this is a new brand at Sephora, but I think it's also like a new brand in general. It is a Black-owned brand. It is probably the most affordable makeup brand that I have seen at Sephora, like full stop. They do self-identify as clean, which makes me think they could just as easily have been found on the shelves at Target in their clean beauty section. Some of these items are less expensive than the clean beauty section at Target. So this is just a really cool thing from an accessibility standpoint and from an inclusivity standpoint that these are at Sephora. So I ended up getting the Triple Fix Serum Foundation. It isn't too deep of a shade. I don't know why I keep doing this to myself. I think I have this mortal fear of doing the like really pale faced thing that I did with the Hydromaniac. And so I keep erring on the side of it being, you know, a little bit deeper. And I've done this with this now, and I also did it with the new Marc Jacobs, the extra shot. So just bear with me on that. I also went with the Secure Skin Gripping Serum Primer, and I'm going to be applying this on one side of my face and an illuminating primer on the other side of my face so you guys can kind of see the different textures and how it applies. I also got two of the blushes in Self Love and Empower, and then I picked up the Speak Love Glossy Lip Treatment Oil. There are a couple of products in their line that I didn't get. One is a bronzer, just because I could be corrected here. I could be proven wrong, but I didn't really see a shade that I thought would work for me. And the other is a setting powder, and I just didn't really think I was going to need a setting powder in this case. So that is what we are going to be doing today. I'm gonna move you guys in, and I'm also going to play with one of my new Imela palettes. This is another Black-owned brand, and I actually won a giveaway for them, and they sent me everything, all of their eyeshadow palettes and their brow products and stuff like that. I'm gonna do a full dedicated video once I get my head around the formula and everything, but I mean, we got 4 freaking eyeshadow palettes, might as well make some use out of them, so we're gonna do that as well. So let's go ahead and jump in. The reason that we are doing a halvesies situation on the primer is because this gripping primer is really grippy, guys. So this is again called the Secure Skin Gripping Serum Primer. This is $20, very affordable. And I would say if you are a fan of the Hydro Grip for all of its gripping properties, this is even more grippy than the Hydro Grip. And it made it a little bit hard when I was first trying it out to get the foundation, which again, I bought in a little bit too deep, a little bit too yellow of a shade, to spread out the way that I thought that it was going to, because it does have kind of like serum dewy promises, I guess, as far as the finish is concerned. And I thought it would be valuable to show you guys up close the difference between putting the primer on first and using something that is going to add some slip to the formula. So I'm going in with the Glossier Future Dew. This is just a fantastic way to add slip to your skin before you put a foundation on, and it's got some oils in it. It's got probably, I don't know, some waxes in it and stuff like that. I'm not totally sure, but it does actually extend the longevity of my makeup, gives me a nice, you know, illuminated glow, and it's actually really nourishing. I sometimes wear it to bed, so big difference there. Okay, so the Triple Fix Serum Foundation is $22 and you get an ounce, I believe. That is an amazing price. That is, like I said, that's drugstore practically in the clean beauty section, because I feel like they're sort of all meeting in the middle at this point, but very cool that this is at Sephora. This does have, like I said, kind of an illuminating promise to it, but I have found that it behaves very differently depending on what I have underneath it. So I am gonna be using a sponge today just because it doesn't take super kindly to being like smeared with a brush. It really likes to kind of be laid down and left there. And I kind of want to, you know, work to the best advantage of the formula. I want to try and make it look as good as I possibly can here. And I may have made an egregious error in placing that there and then not spreading it out immediately, because this stuff does dry down pretty quickly. But look at the, I mean, obviously, a primer is something that you can actually use to manipulate the finish on any, you know, any foundation. for the needs of what you're looking for, whether it be the appearance of it or the performance of it on any given day. So you don't have to pick a primer that is your holy grail everyday primer unless what you want from your makeup is exactly the same every day, which for a lot of us it is. But, you know, sometimes I do want a really dewy finish and not to wear powder, and then sometimes, you know, I want to be able to have something that dries down on its own a little bit more mattified, and it is nice to be able to get that out of the same foundation, just depending on the primer that you put underneath it. So you can definitely see that that's a terrible shade match. Okay, I'll just own that. But that this side with the gripping primer, it is already trying to kind of, I'll turn my light down a little bit here. There you go. It's already trying to kind of blur a little bit. And it is also just, you know, soaking up a little bit more of the moisture in the product. Whereas this side, it's really dewy, it's bouncy, and you just get less camouflage of my actual like freckles and pigmentation and stuff. Again, I got this in the shade Shake Well Before Use. I got this in the shade, where is it? Oh, LN6. Don't get that if you're complected like me. Go a little bit lighter, and then, you know, it's LN is light neutral. It's still a little tiny bit yaller on me, so maybe this whole line goes a little bit yellow. I'm not totally sure. It's a really pretty foundation though. You just kind of have to know how to work with it because it is prone to drying down really fast, like I said. So if you are like a brush person or even a hands person, it might dry down a little too fast for you, especially if you're using that gripping primer. I would definitely recommend a sponge. Okay, let's put some concealer on so that we can balance out this mismatched shade situation. So I'm just gonna go in with my Kosas. It is the right shade to give us some balance here. I've yet to find a place in New Jersey. I say yet to find, we've been here a month, you know, it's not like I've had that much time to do so, but I'm gonna find a place that'll do a chemical peel for me so that I can get some of this Texas pigmentation off my face and also pregnancy pigmentation. I'm ready, you know? God, I was watching a vlog of mine yesterday. I was uploading and I just ran across the one that I dyed my hair pink. And I opened it up and my skin looked like glass. I was like, oh my God, I miss chemical peels. It was like right before I got pregnant. So yeah, that's on the agenda. It's a very exciting thing for me. I love it. It's not me complaining about, oh, my skin's too pigmented and I think it's ugly or something like that. It's just like, man, a chemical peel, a VI peel like the one that I get, oh, it's such a gift to yourself. It's like, it just shaves a couple of years off. It's wonderful. I don't hate my freckles at all. It actually doesn't take my freckles away completely, but it does kind of take away what I feel like, I don't know, are different. There's freckles and then there's like the joined together kind of sunspots, and it does a really good job of discerning the difference. And especially in like these weird hormonal areas that I have right now where like I don't know, just all of a sudden I'm breaking out like right there, it'll just dig deep on that. I'm waxing poetic about chemical peels now, but it'll go deep right there and it'll just keep peeling until you get nice fresh skin, which is so nice. Okay, we'll probably bronze my neck to balance it out and everything, but you know, it's giving me kind of a tan vibe. We're gonna work with it. So I actually am going to go ahead and do what I always do and zoom through my Salt New York, you know, contour and bronzer situation. And then we will get into these blushes, and I'm really excited to share them with you because they are a lot of fun. So stay tuned. This is one of the grippingest primers I have ever used. You can just see the difference. Like, look at, you know, I used the same concealer on both sides. That's not lighting. The way that it is just holding that in place underneath my eye, where this kind of doesn't really necessarily want to dry down as quickly. It's always nice to have something in your repertoire, even if you don't use it that often, that you know you can count on that level, you know? Like, I need some grip today, like, you're gonna get it out of this product. Okay, so let's play with some blush the way that we always do. So the packaging being kind of triangular is a symbol in their line of change, because that is what the delta symbol means in math. I know all kinds of things about math. Ask me about all the things I know about math. But, you know, even in marketing, when we do like, you know, month over month charts, we do a delta, month over month change kind of thing. That's what it means. And while I apply these blushes, I also want to tell you guys about the, like, I don't know, the mission of the brand. So I'm starting in with self-love here, and I'm paraphrasing. I just read it on, you know, on the website, so I might not cover everything. But the creator, she decided that, you know, this argument that she hears about clean beauty not being able to make deep shades, which I went off on in my end of the year video, my trends were leaving in 2020 video. I was just like, can we stop pretending that it's hard to formulate certain colors? Like, that's absurd. And she was like, all right, you know, I'm not gonna sit around, I'm paraphrasing again, but I'm sure she was just like, I have all this knowledge, and this is an uncatered to audience of people who want to wear clean beauty, and there's nothing out there for them. I'm doing a terrible job of explaining this because I'm just concentrating on my blush. I obviously can't do both at the same time. Clean beauty being so white-centric and also being so expensive, she was kind of solving for both of those, and I just thank you. Thank you for taking control of that narrative. As a white person, when a shade range is uninclusive, like, I will still never know the feeling of not being included. Like, I look at it and I go, certain skin tones weren't included, but like 99.9% of the time, I'm sitting there on the sidelines going, well, but I have a shade, you know, because I'm basic white girl TM. To me, it's like, you know, it gives me, selfishly, like, more options to be able to share on my channel for a more diverse community, especially when it comes to the accessibility of it, because a lot of times people are forced to choose between the price they want to pay, the ingredients in their beauty, whether or not it's cruelty-free, whether or not it's vegan, where they can actually, you know, like, find their shade and things like that. And I just really appreciate that they made such an effort to make this as inclusive as they did. So that was the shade Self-Love, and it's kind of a beautiful, deep, rosy color. These are very pigmented, but I don't really know. I've tried a few times to explain this, and I don't really know exactly how to put it other than they're very, very easy to use. They have a little tiny bit stiffer of a formula, and my goodness, you get a butt ton. They are $16, okay? This is great. Like, this is fantastic. I want all the shades. It was probably the hardest for me to decide which shade I wanted in the blushes, just because they were all so pretty. So then I also have the shade Empower, that's this kind of like, you know, cranberry lean, bricky red kind of color. And we're gonna try and achieve just a little bit of Fjord's cheeks there, but you see I'm not even like dabbing my brush off on the back of my hand. For some reason, these being so pigmented but also being really stiff, they're perfect. They're perfect for watercoloring. And you guys know I'm all about like the nuanced differences between these things, because I have tried so many cream blushes and I own so many cream blushes. And this one is just less dewy, which is great. You know, when I'm kind of building a lot of look on my face, I always complain that, you know, sometimes certain blushes will, you know, they'll just make your face really tacky, but these don't, but they also don't have any kind of like permanent dry down where you feel like you can't keep working with them. They are really pretty, and they pick up a little tiny bit, you know, if you aren't careful and you're not like, you know, dabbing, but not nearly as bad as like the Rare Beauty, for example. Like, those pick up so easily. And I don't really know what ingredient makes that, you know, makes a difference as to whether or not it picks up, but these stay put. They're very beginner friendly. They're $16, and I just think that they are like, they're greater than the sum of their parts. There's just something really easy and a pleasure about them to use. There you go, blush police. It's on my chin now. Get it off my lips real quick. It's making me look kind of crazy. All right, I'm gonna let my face eat that for a second, because we're gonna end up putting more blush on anyway. If you're new here, this is normal, don't panic. Okay, let's start in on some eyes here. And I'm going to probably explain this and then time lapse it, just because when I start trying to talk while putting on eye makeup, it makes a very long video. And that's not what we're doing here. Wow, I think I just realized when I did that like there's this huge line of demarcation right there. I know, somebody told me to stop telling on myself, but like, still, I totally understand when things can just be distracting. I don't know, whatever. You guys get the point. Who knows where thoughts come from? They just appear. But the one thing that I want to say about these eyeshadows before I do jump into the time lapse is, if you don't prime first, you will be sad. They don't have the longest wear time on the planet. If you put them on top of something really emollient like what I have on my face right now, that Kosas concealer and the Glossier, the Future Dew, if you just try and put a powder on top, like this particular powder formula on top, the glitters have no fidelity and you want to give them their best chance, you know? Let's time lapse. Seen me making a face when I was doing my brows, and that is because I didn't realize this primer, the gripping primer, kind of acted like hair gel in my eyebrows, and so I was like going through them with a little spoolie and they were going crunch, 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 and I was just like, huh, okay. So my face really didn't eat that much of the blush, which is awesome. It has, again, fidelity, which is really nice. So we are now going to go in with this lip treatment oil. That'll be our last step before we kind of talk a little bit about the brand and all that stuff and move into my final thoughts here. Also, I've got a little bit of that like glowy under eye thing happening. All right, going in with my khaki lip liner because this is just a clear gloss. I'm not, there's no reason to like swatch it or like preserve the color integrity. Okay, so the Speak Love Glossy Lip Treatment Oil is $12. Again, a great price. Even better than a Glossier lip gloss in price, I will leave, I wanna say. I think the Glossier one's like 20. And I have some thoughts. The reason that I compare it to the Glossier one is because that's what it reminds me of the most. It's got this amazing glassy finish to it. Someone asked in a recent video why I'm rubbing off my lip balm. I'm not. I am mixing it with my lip liner so that it's even. I don't want, like, I like the effect of lip liner, but I don't want that 90s like lip liner, lip gloss thing. That was a thing, but it's not my thing. Now I'll put a little bit more on so that you can see the glossy potential here. But what's weird about this is it does make a lot of claims about being a treatment, and it doesn't really give me treatment vibes. After I wear it, my lips are like not really any better or worse for it. It just kind of behaves like a really, really great lip gloss. So I don't dislike it at all. It just isn't, to me, a treatment. That's all. All right, so this is the vibe, guys. This is up close on the gripping primer side that they offer. And you can see that, you know, it's gonna be just a little bit more blurred. It's going to make the foundation have a little bit more coverage. And then this side, you are going to see a little bit more of the pigment peeking through, and you're gonna get a slightly dewier finish on the makeup. So it kind of, you know, depends on how you wanna wear it, but the primer is extremely effective. Okay, so I am loving the look that I was able to achieve with these products today, and in a relatively easy manner. So let's go ahead and recap again on the brand here. So like I said, the Triple Fix Serum Foundation is $22, and it comes in 6x6, it comes in 35 shades, and I really should have gone probably with like LN3. Bone Blush, Very Fair Skin with Neutral Undertones. That is the one that I should have gone with, I think. But they do a great job of showing it on different skin tones. They do a great job of showing you a ton of swatches like all next to each other, which is always really nice. I took a guess and I guessed wrong. So the gripping primer is $20. The Speak Love Glossy Lip Treatment Oil is $12. And those just obviously only come in one shade. So far the lip treatment oil is just the clear. The Higher Standard Satin Matte Cream Blush. When they say satin matte, that is what I think is giving me that really amazing user-friendly application, is because you're not getting, Tower 28. Right, that was the most recent one that I did like a full dedicated blush review on. This is much more, I would say it kind of reminds me of the older Salt New York formula. They're very, very similar, but the Salt New York, the earlier one had dimethicone in it. I don't know, does this one have any, it does have mica in it. What, isohexa? I'm actually not totally sure, but it doesn't seem to have any silicones in it, but it still has that really nice lightweight thing on the face that you would get from like a dimethicone. So I don't know how they did it. I'm not a chemist, I'm not a formulator or anything, but it does have that wear lightly on the face thing that a lot of people really like, because even if you wear a cream product, it still doesn't mean that you want it to feel movable all day, and this doesn't feel movable. Like, it feels like it has an application texture and then it has like a wear texture, and the wear texture is really, really nice, if that makes sense. So it comes in 6 shades, all the way from like that berry that I got, the Empower shade, to a very, you know, nice pale rose called it's called Kindness. They wrote Kindness. I have this curse where I just copy edit everything I see, but they've got a really beautiful orange shade called Inspire, a really bright, beautiful, like pinky fuchsia called Passion. Confident is absolutely lovely. It looks like it has a little bit of shimmer to it. And then Self Love is the other one that I got. And I felt like they layered really beautifully together. Again, if I haven't said this enough, $16, guys. I mean, Target can't even. I did not get the Triple Fix Translucent Pressed Setting Powder. I'm sure that it's lovely, but I don't necessarily, the way that I wear this, I don't think it needs a setting powder, and that is $18. The No Limits Matte Bronzer comes in 5 shades, and when I saw them, like the fairest shade, it could work for me, but the other reason, and I saw it on some skin tones, and like in some cases it looks really warm and in some cases it doesn't, but the main reason that I didn't do it is because I knew I was going to be wearing a cream blush and I didn't want to combine a powder bronzer and a cream blush, but also I just wasn't sure that that shade was going to work for me. They also have some really well-priced brushes that look very pretty, so foundation, powder, sculpting bronzing brush, and a stippling blush brush, and those are all $15. So about LYS, we kind of already touched on this, but their main thing is to diversify the clean beauty industry. It says LYS Beauty is on an unapologetic mission to empower, inspire, and awaken your most confident self through strict formulation standards that help reshape the way consumers approach clean beauty. Committed to a skin-first multicultural approach to formulating, LYS unlocks skin's maximum potential with ingredients that are not only suitable, but deeply enriching for all complexions. Uber clean formulas, cruelty-free, vegan, non-conformity, accessible, and plant-based ingredients. Y'all, this is a creator. Her name is Tisha Thompson. She obviously knew exactly what she wanted here. And again, this is a capsule collection as far as like an initial release that feels very edited. It feels very like a complete thought. And it feels like she didn't, you know, put out anything that she felt wasn't ready yet. And so all of this stuff really has, you know, a mission to the formula and a, you know, a performance promise. And I feel like they get to what they're going for. I always say that, you know, don't come to market with a whole bunch of stuff that I just kind of have to like use the feel good to amalgamate a good face of makeup. Like, each of these products stands alone. So that's it about the brand. Let's go ahead and jump into my final thoughts on LYS Beauty. This is, you know, a line that I have had the chance to use over the past few weeks or so. I did order it on their website before they even launched at Sephora, so I've had a few weeks with it. The Secure Skin Gripping Serum Primer. I really, really like this for what it aims to do. Again, a primer is not necessarily a thing that you wear every single day. It is a tool that you pull out to alter the performance of your complexion products to accommodate whatever your skin needs that day. And it depends on, you know, the weather or what makeup you're putting on, like where you're gonna be, what you want from it. And if you want something that grips, fam, this is a gripping primer. It is not screwing around. It makes your skin feel really, really nice and like tacky. If that gives you all the confidence in the world in your makeup, is that like tacky feeling before you put your makeup on, this is your girl. But I would say it is, like, for memory at least, twice as gripping as the Milk Hydro Grip Primer, and like noticeably so. And so you do have to be mindful of that when you're putting your makeup on top of it. It's kind of like a really grippy eye primer in that sense, where you almost have to be like mindful to set it first so that you can get the blendability, or in this case, just, you know, sponge on the foundation instead of trying to wipe it, because if you try and wipe it with a brush, it's gonna catch that brush and it's gonna dry down really fast. And so I did encounter that challenge a couple of times with this primer, but I managed to make it work in a really, really beautiful way. Just make sure that, you know, I would recommend a sponge over hands or a brush. I do think that it works really, really beautifully with an illuminating primer though, too. It kind of gives you these options, right? And this was kind of a surprising foundation for me, because when I did apply it a couple of different times, like sometimes it would work really beautifully and as described, and other times I would end up with it looking kind of flat. And a lot of that probably had to do with the fact that it isn't like the perfect shade match for me. And you know, I do feel like I can make it work. It's not a big deal. And it's not super duper high coverage either. But I felt like for something that had these like very, you know, illuminating, quenching kind of claims to it, which this does, I was getting kind of a dried look to my skin. And this is just me postulating, right? But like UMA Beauty, when they came out with their big range of foundation, and they still talk about this on their website, every skin tone grouping of their foundations, they say, has a slightly different formula, because different skin tones have different specific needs. And I honestly, I wonder if, because this kind of reminds me a little bit of some of the other Black-owned brand foundations that I have tried, I wonder sometimes if this performs differently for me because it was formulated first for Black skin tones and then iterated to my skin tone, versus like the vast majority of things out there in the market, especially in the clean beauty market, that were formulated for me first and then iterated to deep skin tones. I could just be talking out of my butt, but like I do notice a nuanced difference that it feels a little bit like I don't get, or I have to work a little bit harder to get the really like the dewiness claims for some reason. And it might just be my skin type, but I also, it's something that I noticed with the lip bar. It's something that I do notice with the Beauty Bakery, although Beauty Bakery has a lot of silicone in it. And so I feel like it is a little bit more kind of like resilient to different conditions. The UMA, I have days where that is like the driest thing on me ever, and other days where it is just absolutely flawlessly beautiful and like, you know, perfect skin finish. And in the lip bar, you guys, I don't know if you guys saw that, but like that didn't work for me at all. And then when I watch people apply it online, especially people with deeper skin tones, it's unbelievable. It's gorgeous. So it was just something that occurred to me trying to think outside of myself a little bit and just kind of observing the differences between some of these formulas, that, you know, if you do have different needs based on deep skin and the specific needs of different skin tones, this might perform for you differently than it does for me. And it probably will be like, you'll probably get more of the claims from it even than I do. Let's talk about these blushes. There really is not a whole lot to qualify here. I don't need to make any caveats. They're just beautiful. I actually really enjoy the fact that they went to the trouble to make this a satin matte cream. A satin matte cream. We need more of that. And I feel like Rare Beauty set out to do that, and I always feel like a jerk saying this, but like that is a formula that's a little bit frustrating because it picks up so easily back off of your skin. It warms to your skin almost too much, and then all the silicones in it feel kind of eager to like cling on to whatever touches them after that. And this, for some reason, it just kind of stays on your skin in a really nice way, but it doesn't get gummy at all. So yeah, I just found these to be really lovely, and I want all the shades, and honestly I can afford all the shades because they're $16 a piece, and you get that is a lot of product, fam. Like, I was expecting these things to be tiny when they arrived, and they are generous. And then finally, the Speak Love Glossy Lip Treatment Oil. I think this is an absolutely beautiful lip gloss. I don't think that it's a treatment oil, but I also don't think that they're charging some kind of premium for it being a treatment oil. You know, a lot of times they're like, it's skincare, that's gonna be $60, you know? But they don't do that, so I'm not mad at it. I just think it's a little bit of a misnomer. Beautiful product, reminds me a lot of like somewhere in between Glossier and Tower 28 in terms of like the bouncy, you know, glassy lip that it gives me, and your girl loves a really good clear lip gloss, and I love this, and it's a great price. It just don't expect it to be like, you know, a lip balm hybrid, because it's not. So those are my thoughts on LYS. I think that it is a really, really exciting brand to have on the market for so many reasons, especially the history of my channel kind of stumbling through clean beauty and all of its like not that great qualities having to do with lack of inclusivity, crazy inaccessible prices, the lack of performance, just things that really frustrated me about it after spending all of 2019 focusing only on clean beauty. This is just such a breath of fresh air. And I'm also just really glad that it performs really well. It would have been really sad if it didn't, you know, it would have been like, oh, we're almost there. But no, it's incredibly, incredibly beautiful. So yeah, guys, that's the vibe today. That's LYS, and I hope that you enjoyed this. If you found this helpful, then give it a thumbs up. If you want to keep hanging out with me on this channel, hit the button down below and subscribe. I would love it if you guys did. Thank you so much for watching and for hanging out with me today. I love you so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.